review time. Here's what you get in the package. Pretty flimsy case, better than nothing. One SSX23 with one green gas magazine included, and an Allen key. That's it. An absolutely critical part of every SSX23 silencer. Doesn't come in kit, you have to get it separately, but it's a very nice one. It's modular, so you can take it apart and make yourself a stubby one. This is many times more manageable in terms of size, as the SSX23 is already huge. Comes with a 16mm clockwise thread. As of 2020, the suppressor also comes with the 40mm thread adapter, so you can use it on any other gun. I don't have it on the moment, but it comes off like this and screws in place. The gun by itself doesn't fit in the case with the suppressor attached, but if you use only 2 sections instead of 3, you can fit the suppressor inside like so, and it works just fine. The first thing you notice on this pistol when you get it is the sheer size. It's severely bigger than any other pistol I've held to date. For comparison, here I have my CZ-P09. It's bigger in every dimensions, including width, as you can see. While it's gonna take some getting used to it, in the end, it feels good, it's solid, but be careful if you have small hands, this might be an issue. I have medium-sized hands, and it works great, but yeah, the overall weight for this pistol is quite good. It's actually very light compared to SSP1, which weighs a ton. Compared to a CZ-P09, it weighs about the same, but it's much bigger, so yeah, the mag is almost the same weight as the pistol itself. The overall quality and finish for this pistol is about what you would expect from Norwich. It's quite good, but it's not perfect. For example, the sights on this pistol is not the greatest. As you can see, there's quite a bit of flashing and imperfection on these, both on the front and the back. Another thing I noticed for this exact pistol is the trigger mechanism is rattling a bit. Take a listen. I have another SSX23, which doesn't have this issue, so this is something new, but it's definitely annoying for a €135 pistol. Another thing to note is that the mag release on this pistol is quite different. It's ambidextrous, and yeah, it's basically slightly different than most pistols. You can use either the thumb or the index finger to release the magazine. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's a matter of preference, but it is what it is. The internals of this pistol looks pretty good. The first few times when you're disassembling the gun, it might be tricky to get it apart, but you eventually learn it. Let's check how this exact one looks. This one looks pretty good. On the previous SSX23, I had some issues with some flashing left over from injection molding on this part right here, but this appears to have no issues on the newer model I just unboxed. And also the bucking looks very clean, as well as the barrel. So no issues there. The TDC on this one is the Gen 2 that comes in the 2020 version. Have had no issues whatsoever, as well as the new maple leaf barrel that comes in this one. So there's basically no need to upgrade this pistol. I'm usually the type of guy who likes to upgrade things. I've had no interest in upgrading whatsoever because it just shoots almost perfectly. Another topic of interest for these pistols are usually the magazines. So these are the Gen 2 magazines from Norwich. From my experience, I've had 6 of them. 3 of them managed to leak within a year. However, it was actually quite easy to fix the leak. All I had to do is just tighten the valve. Another thing that I learned while dealing with this issue is the fact that it's not recommended to leave these magazines without the gas. All the 3 magazines that started leaking on me, actually I've had left without gas for a few weeks before they started leaking. So ever since, I've never left them without gas, and so far after a year of use, none have been leaking. This is my experience. It may vary for you. This was my first experience with green gas magazines, as I've previously run only a CO2 pistol, and I'm actually very happy on the whole process and the whole filling situation, and I actually really enjoy the fact that you don't have to empty the pistol gas all the way before you can refill it, so you can refill it during the game at any point. Obviously there's this issue that during the cold winter time the power will drop on these magazines with green gas, but you can easily just buy higher pressure gas that's available from Norwich or any other retailer, and it will work good enough in the winter too. Obviously it's not as powerful as CO2, but since this is a non-blowback pistol, it works great, and there's really no need for a CO2 version in my opinion. So these magazines hold 24 rounds, but with some modifications you can manage to fit up to 28. I'll have more info in a different video regarding this modification. Key difference for the Gen 2 magazines is the feed lips. On Gen 1, people had some issues with double feeding or misfeeding. On Gen 2, they improved the feed lips. What they basically did is they made a small notch right here on the top that allows the BB to sit in place so it doesn't accidentally go in the chamber. Well, this did fix the issue and I've had no issues with double feeding. A thing that they also did is they narrowed the gap for the BB to exit, which resulted in a significantly heavier trigger pull. Just take a listen. It takes a lot of force compared to the Gen 1, but thankfully there's an easy fix. What you can do is you can basically take a small file and just slightly file the edges right here. Just take it slowly and carefully, because if you file them too much, the BBs will just spew out. That basically mostly fixed the issue for me, but I had the chance to also test the Tokyo Marui stock, and that felt much smoother than these, but again, something that's quite easy to fix, and it works. This gun, as it stands, shoots incredibly well. I would say to a point where it outranges some AGs on the field in terms of precision and the range, and that's quite a statement. I didn't believe this before getting my hands on one, but yeah, this is my second SSX23, and I can assure you that it shoots incredibly well. I feel like the stock configuration as it comes in the SSX23 needs no further upgrades. The barrel is great, the TDC works great, everything just works, and I've been playing with a different SSX23 for almost a year now, and I've had zero issues with it. The only real complaint I have about this gun is that the trigger pull is really long and quite stiff, as for most non-blowback guns, so it's not really a surprise. As you can see, the trigger pull is quite long, so it takes some getting used to it, as well as you have to rewire your thinking how you pull the trigger. You can't really pull this trigger halfway and then release it, because that will cause double feed. If you pull it so far and then release it and then shoot it, it jammed. That's something you have to rewire in your brain to always have one smooth shooting motion. Once you get around that, the gun is really good. I actually didn't understand the idea. Why would anyone put a carbine kit around such a gun? But now I truly understand it. It's just that accurate. For the holster, I would suggest going with the double tap SSX23 MK23 holster. It works really well. You can't really lose the pistol once it's locked in. It's just a really good option. If you're planning to run this on a barrel belt setup, I recommend checking out this video where I explain how to attach it to a barrel belt correctly, as it's actually quite confusing. I think the Norwich pistol pouches are really good option. They fit the SSX23 magazines perfectly. You can stack them nicely in a single row. There's customizable inserts that let you adjust the height at which the magazine goes in and stops. That's a nice feature. And as well, the adjustable tension. I've been playing with these for a full season now. I definitely recommend them. A particular thing to this magazine is that the pull tab on the magazine is very small, so it's actually really hard, even with bare fingers, to pull the tab down. It hurts like a bitch. What I do is I use Unicorn speed loader adapter made by TRIDOS.DESIGN, which makes this magazine loading a breeze. Just like so. When I first got the pistol, I also bought the lanyard that Norwich sells. While this works pretty good, I felt like it was limiting me in how I play. If you're using double tap holster, it's actually really hard to lose the pistol. Not really recommended, but if you really want it, this is quite good quality and you can surely get it. Norwich also sells this nice little micro red dot. What I found out was that it was actually slowing me down in terms of target acquisition, but if I have to review the red dot itself, I think it's a really good quality. It feels very solid, and the red dot itself is very nice and crisp. As you can see, the red dot is very bright, very easy to see. As you can see, the tint of the red dot is actually quite greenish, so yeah, it sometimes limits you in terms of seeing the enemy. The red dot itself is quite good, and if you're planning to run this as a primary, I think this red dot is a really nice value, and the quality is really good on this one. So I also bought the front rail, but I actually ended up not using it. It requires you to drill a hole, and I've seen people mess it up. Unless you absolutely need a flashlight, I would not suggest going with this. There are also some other plastic rail types available in the market which don't require you to drill a hole. The O-light that Norwich sells is actually really nice add-on. It's actually super bright. I mean, it's past sunset, but it has a few modes. While you hold it, it glows. If you click it once, it's always on, and it also has the strobe mode. If you press both, yeah, it's a strobe. It's really nice for clearing rooms. As you can see, it's bright and nice. It's sometimes even too bright, I would say. Sometimes I've had an issue where I torch a corner and you blind yourself. Other than that, it's a great light. Totally recommended. If you've come this far in the video, I think it's quite fair to say that it's worth to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. In all seriousness, I think this gun is 100% worth it. Sure, you can get a different brand, MK23, for as little as $50. How do those guys even make money? But in that case, you have to take into account buying a new barrel, TDC hop-up unit, also a new bucking, the metal slide if you want ruggedness of this pistol, and you also have to take into account the fact that you'll have to put it all together. There's a potential to mess something up. I think it's definitely worth the value. If you just want to get a pistol and just shoot with it, I think this is one of the best options on the market right now. I would go as far as to say that this is one of the best purchases I've made in my airsoft career. It's just been so much fun with this pistol, and yeah, I totally recommend it. If you want a good performer out of the box, SSX23 won't let you down. Just go for it. I've been also working on a folding stock mod for the SSX23, which looks like this. If you're planning on building a carbine kit, you can check out TRIDOS Airsoft on Facebook for more information on that. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.